Mic is live now, yes. So if you're watching, welcome to the studio. I'm Zaraganat. Good job I'm paranoid these days about checking that. Because I wasn't live. Well, I was live, but the microphone wasn't. It didn't initialise. Ah dear. Well, at least the PC hasn't crashed tonight, which is something, I guess. Whether I fixed it or not, I doubt it, because it's gone before for a couple of starts before it crashed. So we shall just have to wait several weeks before I know whether it's working or not. For some reason, occasionally though, when it wakes up, the digital to analog, the analog to digital converter doesn't initialise properly from wake up. Maybe what I ought to do is tell it to maintain power on that interface, not to power it down. Don't know. Something else to try and sort out. I'm watching my own video, so yes, I've got video going out as well. It reminds me, I ought to turn that grey box off, since I'm not using that camera. It was a Raspberry Pi, but using it meant putting an inordinate amount of delay into the audio, the other video streams from the other two cameras, and that was quite difficult to manage, and then having to delay the audio streams as well. It's a bit of a pain. So at some point, if I want a third camera, I am going to have to use a USB camera. I guess I could always use a video converter, something like an Elgato, I guess. But that seems rather overkill to have one of those just to use a Raspberry Pi. I suppose I could do something like that, but then I'd need... The idea of the Raspberry Pi was that it's a cheap camera, and it is a relatively cheap camera. But getting the delay down on it is the difficult bit when you're streaming. It seems to be fast operating, but it seems to be really slow in transmitting that to the network. So like 20 seconds, and yet it's already encoding. So. But the idea was to use it as a cheap camera, but the difficulty, as I say, it wouldn't be so bad, I guess, if you had all the cameras, Raspberry Pis. Yeah, you missed the mic isn't working. Right. Had that at the start of the stream. As I said, I started up correctly, everything was working as such, and I said, I'm getting paranoid here, and I looked over there and said, yeah, I'm streaming and there's no audio going out. The analog to digital converter hadn't initialized properly when I started the PC up. But I saw it, and I fixed it before you came on and told me I wasn't giving any sound. Yeah, it's something I kind of realised with that after I'd done it. that was some sort of overlay that had been put on by whatever. I can't remember where the picture came from. Actually, it was a picture you pointed me at. I kind of realised that wasn't part of the card, but because I'd already started colouring it, I couldn't really do anything about it. But yeah, no, I fully intend to miss that off the next time, and thank you for the feedback on that. That's what comes, you see, from somebody who doesn't actually know the game. And therefore wouldn't know that wasn't really meant to be there. I mean, it's kind of obvious now looking back, because of course it covers the number at the bottom right, and why would you do that? But oh, that's good, thank you very much, Wolfie. I see. Where would that be? Because I don't know actually where you did post it. Well, we'll have to pick one from the new decks then. Okay. You realise I use my phone normally about once a month, and that's it. Okay. Yeah, I rarely use the phone. I'm not particularly against it, I just don't use the phone, I don't carry it with me. Yeah, oh no, I mean, it's... I was about to say, I used it for... that picture site that I can't remember the name of. I can post from the PC, but it's a bit of a pain in the neck to actually do it. Oh, I can't remember. It's weird, things like that just disappear out of my head for some reason. Level 5,000, that's not bad going. What I'll have to do at some point is put that put the pyrography onto the shop as well, so it can help pay for streaming. Okay. Well, I will. I say we'll when there's pictures of the new decks available, which I think you said is tomorrow. Oh, they've delayed it, 7th of December. Well, I'll have to do something else in the meantime then. I'm hoping this doesn't take until the 7th of December to do. Maybe I'll do that that dragon one that I have that I showed you the other day as an interim one. Okay. Well, if there's... yeah, I don't mind. If there's a good image. Well, you're quite good at that, manipulating the search engines. I'm not bad, but it does help to know what it is that you're looking for. That's a nice relaxing track that's playing. Who's that? Petals by Myra. I like that one. Just applying a thumbs up to it on Pretzel, then it will potentially, I think, if I remember rightly, appear more often. Or at least I'll be able to potentially find it again. There's rather an amazing kind of lot of music on Pretzel. I like all these sort of small, I guess you could call them indie producers, publishers, self-publishing musicians, which I like. A lot of what I hear on there I like a lot better than I like what's in the charts. Not that I listen to the charts all that often, because I don't particularly like what's in there most of the time. Maybe when I can afford to do so, I will actually have to get a subscription to Pretzel, so I can listen to the music outside of streaming. Because that's the thing with Pretzel. Pretzel, you have a license, or I have a license if you like, to play the music whilst I'm streaming, but not when I'm not streaming. If I want to do that, I have to subscribe, and to be able to listen to it whilst I'm not streaming. Okay. Well, for anybody that's watching, you might be wondering what I'm doing. I'm putting little plastic dots on this pre-glued piece of canvas. The special thing about these little plastic dots, though, is they're dome-shaped and they are faceted, rather like a jewel would be, or gemstone, which means that, I'm perhaps putting those dots in the wrong place, but it means that it sparkles, as you can see. And that's the nice thing about these particular pictures. Your favourite card. Okay, let's have a look at your favourite card. No. I think Light Shot, or whatever it is, didn't like that image. Either it's DRM'd or something, but it looks like it took the image away. You do. I can't see it. Picture has been removed. So it wouldn't show me it on that link, Wolfie. That's a nice looking card. I think the first one of those two looks a nicer one. What, Rin the First Disciple is your favourite, is it? Okay. From an image perspective, the Feral Gibber looks like an interesting one to try and do. But yes, Rinda's First Disciple. I'm not as keen on marrying the fox as an image, that is. I mean, obviously cards are a different thing altogether, but I shall save them after the stream and take a look, print them out and take another look at them. Looks like Twitch is playing up a little bit in its API. I'm not getting a viewer count again. Now, I'm looking at them from the point of view of doing pyrography. Well, I have to sell it, but it does help, as I say, pay for things. I was thinking Feral Gibber just because it's potentially for pyrography, it's an easier image for pyrography to do than something like the fox. And Rin the First Disciple. Now, the problem with fox is it's got a lot of writing on it as well, and that's kind of takes a lot of time to do. Yeah. Well. If it sells, then that would be a way to do the others. Hoarding the Dragon looks quite a nice card for pyrography as well. as well as something like the Lesser Ruby Spellstone. Interestingly, Temporous would perhaps be an interesting one as well. Yeah, there's quite a few there. Thanks for the link. I shall store that link, and I shall have a look through them. Push that button there, and yeah, that'll do. Yeah, it's not so, well. Better is a difficult concept. You've kind of got to imagine what they're going to look like in black and white. You know, a single colour, and then how you're going to sort of, because what you can end up with is let's say something like red and green. Okay, two completely different colours, which most people can easily tell apart from people who are colourblind. But you can look at them and you can see them apart. But if they are the same relative brightness, then they get the same monochrome colour. So when we apply pyrography, red and green side by side merge into just one colour. So what you have to do is start to manipulate things a little bit to try and make sure you still get the contrast there. So it's almost like being a little bit colourblind with colours, in that sometimes you can't distinguish them when you go to monochrome, and that's what I've got to look at and say, how do I have to manipulate this image so that two dissimilar colours, which would be the same when converted into black and white, how do I tell them apart? How do I make them, distinguish them in the actual image? And if you don't have to do that, it's a bit easier. Okay. Vanessa Sunsolar. Interesting names they come up with. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to at some point. We're doing many things. Get an easel out with a board on it, just so I can do something like have this at an angle. Actually, which is better on the camera. It'd be better for me as well, because I don't actually get the reflections. I'm just wondering if my easel is around here. Where did I put my easel? Let me just see if I can find it. Where did I put my easel? Down there. This may be a dangerous thing to do in the middle of a stream, but let's see. Let me set up an easel. I'll have to adjust the camera then, but put that down there, put a board on it. Oh, have I tightened you up? Yes, I did. Let's see if this works. Because now the problem is I don't see chat all that easily. Now I keep having, and you can't see me at all, but what I can do with that is I can grab that camera from there and pull that there. Hello, I'm back again. Now then, if I put that on there, like that, and then I move this back up out of the way like that, what am I doing? Apart from dropping things on the floor. I'm setting up an easel. Let me just make sure this wire... Yeah, camera's going to go all over the place just for the moment, whilst I just sort out the wiring on this desk. So hopefully nobody gets seasick. Right, there we go. Put that there. That's on me there. Okay, hello. So I've just set up an easel, which allows me to have this at an angle, which means you don't get the light reflections off of it. I don't get the light reflections off of it. I can work on it, I can read the numbers, and it's a lot easier to see. Of course, the only problem then is it's not as easy to see chat. Let's see if I can move this computer. Rearranging the stream layout in the middle of a stream may not be a good idea, but I've done it anyway. Right, so let's see how this goes. For the minute then, I'm going to take that off of there completely. And put it over there. And that makes me realise I need to change my glasses. Oh, why do I always forget something? I always forget something when I'm streaming. But actually that's a lot nicer, because I can now hold this with this hand like this, and I can see what I'm doing. I'm not fighting against the glare from the overhead lights on the canvas, which is reflecting light back. So I can see a lot better, which is fantastic. I should have done this before. I kept saying I should have a go at putting the easel on the desk, but I'm glad I have. I just have to remember to keep looking across there. Now, it may mean that the computer displaying the chat would be better over there, maybe, rather than, I don't know. I may have to put what I'm doing here in the middle of the desk rather than... Time to experiment with the stream layout again, I think. This is where I could do with a different camera mount. This is on like an angle poise lamp mount, is this camera here. What I could perhaps do with doing is mount it on something like a mic stand, so it stands sort of on the floor and I can put it over my shoulder or something, so I can move it around. That way, because at the moment there's only certain places I can put it. You know, I can't, for example, go work at that side of the desk on the 3D printer. I'm saying that side of the desk over there. On 3D printer, I'd have to bring the 3D printer over here if I wanted to do it on stream, because it's I can't get the camera over there. At least not with... Yeah, no, I can't really get the camera over there at the moment. I was going to say, not without undoing the clamp that's down here. and physically clamping it elsewhere, which I suppose I could do, but also means I'd need another USB extension lead. I'm glad I tried this, the easel here. I almost didn't bother a minute ago when I was looking for it, and then I thought, well, yeah, why not? We'll try it. I'm kind of glad I did. It's a completely different experience, shall we say? Still better to put this down to tap it than it is to try and do it in my hand, because I can see if I tried to do that I'd knock these things all over the floor. Now that, because I'm working like this, I can take the cellophane off because I'm not going to put my hand down on the picture, and you get a lot better view of it now, don't you? It's not flat on the desk, so you're actually seeing the full picture, but without the plastic on as well, you actually see the effect. Okay, it's a bit like playing a little game, is that? Sort of, I just outlined the area then, and now I fill it in. Something sort of a bit more, I don't know, satisfying, or a little bit sort of makes it feel like it's going quicker by doing that. Totally psychological, of course, because it's not making it doesn't make any difference. It just feels that way. Good, so that's the bottom bit of that picture. Now we just come up that side with the number 8. Welcome back, Wolfie. Just bear with me. I'm just going to do a be right back in a second. It just hurt something, I just want to go investigate. Okay, I'm back. Just a sound I heard and it couldn't identify it, and just went to check, see if it was anything important, but don't know what it was. Ladies Hour didn't hear it, and so my imagination, I guess. Fitting music. Starting You by Popsky. Why is that fitting? Oh right, was he? Okay. The layout, yeah. I was just thinking that it looks better on camera, and it's actually better for me working here as well, because I don't have to tip my head down as much to look at the desk. and so I don't get I won't get as much. My neck won't be as tight, if you like. So, because the one thing you have to be careful of when you're working head down on a desk a lot of time is getting neck ache. And if I can work like this on the easel, that's a lot better. I'll have to see if I can do this with some of the other things like well, I will actually have to use it for the pyrography as well. In fact, yeah, because I sort of use my left hand to hold the thing. I'm just thinking that working with that on there as well, that would be a lot nicer as well to work on, because I don't have that glare, neither does the camera. It's a more comfortable angle to work at, is that. I'm glad you made me think of this idea, Wolfie. I'm gonna have to rearrange the desk again though. I mean, when I was obviously I had the easel for when I was doing the airbrushing, and it was the desk. I had to sort of rearrange the desk to do that, and I'm gonna have to sort of rearrange it again to continue working with it like this, because I think it's definitely worth doing. It's also going to be nicer if I sitting down on the stool as well. I'm thinking back now and I can't actually work out how. I don't know if it was something I was saying, or because of whatever the discussion that was doing or whatever, but it suddenly popped into my mind that I really ought to try the easel. One of those sort of things that I can't actually recall now exactly what it was. Don't know if you've ever had that. You suddenly have a thought pop into your head and you try backtracking it to work out what it was that made you think of it, and it just you just can't find the root of it back. Yep, that one's broken. As a number one there, I am not going to go get a number one out. Not for just one dot. I wonder if I have enough dots in here just to finish this bit off. Now my luck, I'm going to be one short. Yeah, there's not enough there. Let's get some more out. Right, we've almost finished this particular colour, and then we move on to the final colour. The final frontier of white. Never get these things to turn over when you want them to. Okay, that's the last number 8. Quick check. Not that it really matters because number 3 is next. I will just use number 3 if I've missed any. Can't see any, so number 3, the last colour. Before we finish off this picture. Being careful not to stab myself with the scalpel. I don't think that would be a really good idea. Let's get the black one out of there. One black dot and install the white for no apparent reason. Oh, and the yellow one as well. Right, so we start at this end and work backwards. That image that was on the right hand side just a moment ago was all the 16 different colours that are available in for chainmail rings. They're really, well, I think they're really pretty colours, but I actually love the colours of the chainmail. The aluminium, anodised aluminium comes in. There's some really lovely shiny rich colours in there. That's a real subtle difference between the number 8, which is just next to the number 3 here, that's an 8, that's a 3. It's a real subtle difference. I can hardly tell the difference, and I probably wouldn't notice if I got them mixed up. Probably got a few too many in this container here because I can't easily spot the ones which are the right way up. Now, I think today is Wednesday, isn't it? So, a bit of advance notice for anybody watching, and you as well, Wolfie, is that on Friday there'll be no stream on Friday. Again, I'm not going to be here to do it, but we will be streaming again on Saturday as normal. So just whilst I'm doing this, for anybody that is watching, yeah, I can do that. I can definitely do that. Oh, I doubt that somehow. I doubt that somehow. I'm sure you'll find some way to go on. I was just about to say, for anybody that's watching, this is it describes me below the window, apart from being an artist with a short attention span, as a variety streamer, and it is, we normally do a variety of things. Well, I think, Wolfie, if it's that bad, then it's probably a good idea that you do some, you find something else, because I would not want to cause somebody to be so addicted that that's what would happen to them. Yeah, cold turkey. I was about to say, what I'll end up having to do is to ban you, isn't it? But that doesn't stop you watching, it just stops you commenting. Well, I think you're probably right in the use of the singular there, in terms of viewer. I guess this sort of thing is not very interesting for people to watch. Maybe I'll have to get the carving knives out again, or carving chisels out again. And I'm still hoping what will now be early next year to do a short glass work course or day, see whether I like it, and if I do like it, then I'll be thinking seriously about setting up a glass studio for me to do some flame work. I don't know if I kind of assumed that would be something which people might like to see streamed, but I don't know. Wolfie, what do you think? Is me doing glass blowing something that you think people would want to watch? Of course, Wolfie, you know, the thought occurs to me, if not watching me on Friday, because I won't be here to stream, means that you'll die, then you'll miss out on Saturday and Sunday streams as well. So it strikes me that, you know, you'll be worse off for it. You know, think of all those streams that you'll miss. Yeah, that's true. I I don't know, there are days when it's really easy to speak and talk and say lots of things, and there are days when it's just more difficult. It doesn't come naturally at all for some reason. And you'd never know I was shy, would you, really? But I don't know. At one time doing this, not this art form, but actually streaming would have been something I would have thought I would never be able to do. I once did a training course. That training course was about presentation skills, and one of the things that we had to do on that was to do a presentation to a camera. So just literally a camera there. I had to do a presentation, which is kind of what I'm doing now, and that was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, because when you're presenting, one of the things you rely on a heck of a lot is the audience feedback. You know, you by watching them, you can see whether you've got the pace right. You can see whether they understand what it is you're talking about and things like that. And when you have to do it without that, just to a camera, and you've got none of that feedback at all, it is or was extremely hard. And it's only relatively recently I sort of realised that that's what I'm doing now, though. And not only that, I'm doing it totally unscripted. So with the presentation, you'll have, potentially you've written it, you've practiced it or whatever, and you only have to present it. Now I'm having to do all of that totally unscripted, talk to the camera, obviously interact with you guys, and I'm kind of surprised that it's as easy as it is. I didn't find it particularly hard at all. I don't know if that's just sort of years of experience since then in giving things like presentations and teaching people, or whether it's just somehow fundamentally different in my own brain. Bit of a weird thing. Yeah, it's a lot easier when you get to know people. I've done a job in sales, and with that, you have to talk to people that you don't know, and sort of interact with them and things like that. So that kind of if you like, got me used to walking into a room full of people and just saying hello to everybody. Just literally walking and say hello. Previously, I wouldn't have done that. I would have sort of sneaked into a room, but you can't afford to be like that when you're in sales. You have to be outgoing and communicate with people. So perhaps that's what's made the difference in doing that job. And of course, most of the time what you're afraid of when you're being shy is it never happens anyway in real life. Also, yeah. It's interesting. I think a lot of salespeople actually are shy people. I think it's they're also often very competitive as well. To some extent, so am I, but I don't mind losing, which is kind of weird, because that's not usually a competitive trait. But yeah, I think it's for a lot of people in sales, it's I won't say it's an act. It's not quite an act, but it's a way of working that sort of, I don't know, makes it easier to do the job, I guess. But sales is an interesting job, really interesting job. You have to learn to read people and read their body language. Makes an enormous amount of difference. If you can do that, you can tell when people are interested or not interested and things. So my sales were involving sort of multi-million pound things, and you've got to it's a completely different perspective to sort of selling I don't know, a book or something like that. When you're selling millions of pounds worth of stuff. You alone raised over 500 going to. Yeah, that's interesting because I guess high school. I'd describe it as my senior school, I guess. That's kind of what I used to do in the charity events. I literally would go around the neighbourhood door to door, and I don't know actually how much I raised in doing the things, but because it was usually a sponsorship type thing, and I would literally go to sort of hundreds of doors, knock on the doors. Not actually sure whether that's legal in the UK, but did it anyway, and was therefore one of the higher people. I'm sure the way a few other people did it though was by sort of handing the forms and things over to the parents who took them to work and sort of distributed them around offices and things. You were the number one seller, yeah. Well done. Perhaps you ought to do sales as a long-term job then, Wolfie. Maybe sell computer games so you can demonstrate them. Yeah, your own computer games will be even better, of course. Yeah, well, when I was at school, what they would do is the top class would get a day off from school. But of course, that for that to be effective, the rest of the class had to do quite a lot as well. It's no good one person making a lot if another class, sort of the whole class, made a small amount, but it adds up. So I never actually got to have the day off, but we didn't. They didn't have individual sort of. I hesitate to describe them as prizes, but you know what I mean. The same sort of thing. Rewards, shall we say. It's kind of interesting. I find it interesting. She's a complete figure of speech in a way, but I'm never any good at selling my own stuff. Well, I'm not very good at selling my own stuff. I can sell multi-million pound networks and things like that, or I have done, but I've never been very good at selling the own stuff that I craft and make. It's kind of I'm not, well, I guess it's kind of, I'm not very good at selling myself, which is what you need to do when you're selling your own stuff. Front page of the paper, eh? Ah, that's not bad going. I've been in the paper once and on the television. In doing that, I won an international. No, well, it was international, but it was national. National competition, and got a nice prize for. Well, no, actually, thinking about it, I didn't get a nice prize for that. I got the prize I got for the same thing, but for something else, which I know doesn't make sense. But in another context, I got the prize, not in this particular competition. But yeah, it was a competition between companies for an ideas competition. It was a real interesting thing because I did not win the competition in my own company, but I was high enough placed that they put like the top 3 into the intercompany competition, which I won. Didn't win my own company. I won the international one, not international, the intercompany one, which meant I beat the first prize winner in my own company, which was an interesting thing. You have around 45 years to get on television, and we've done the same. Oh, I was what, probably about 20 odd years old then, and we did have colour television. That competition was broadcast. So it was recorded and then broadcast, and I got to know that I'd won about 4 times because they kept having to retake that particular bit of the show. It's kind of hard to look surprised after the third announcement. In about a year. Plenty of time then, Wolfie, plenty of time. Well, in some ways it seems kind of like it's easier to get on television these days than it used to be. Because I mean, you see a lot of people on television these days, and I think it's probably so a lot of it's associated with the sort of things like YouTube and Twitter and things like that. Gets a lot of people onto the media, the national media now a lot more easily than it used to be. And of course, these days you've got a lot of people who are famous for being famous. Not a competition. Oh, I don't know. You never know, Wolfie. You may well just do it. I literally couldn't tell you when it actually was. I was in my 20s, but I don't know when it is. So you've got a few more years yet. I think television, though, itself is it has been interesting. I think Lady Zara has watched a few of these things like the X Factor and stuff like that, and she's also interested in just generally in music and things. And you can see it on the forums and things. You get a lot of the music people, the reality TV people these days. You see a lot of the fans which are sort of saying, they can't get to meet these people. They don't want to come out of a stage, or when they come out of a studio, they jump into a car. They don't want to talk to people, and it's kind of, these are the people that have made you famous. Why can't you take 5 minutes of time, just to talk to them, or at least, let them see you there without immediately jumping into a vehicle. And you can see that with a lot of the old musical bands, the big bands. I mean, some of the world famous bands are quite happy to sort of meet you in they'll come out into the foyer theatres or the concert halls, or they'll meet at the stage door and things like that, and they'll let you take photographs, they'll shake your hand, sign autographs and things like that. And that's sort of fairly big bands, of my era, if you like. People like the Beach Boys, people like Status Quo, they're quite happy to meet their fans, because they've kind of realised, they are there because of these fans, and that's why they're in that theatre that evening. And it's seems to be somewhat of a stark contrast to the more recent stars, who haven't had to work hard to get 1 million people watching them, and it's a pity in a way. Well, we're not going to be able to finish this on this stream, that's for sure. There's still a heck of a lot to be done, even though it's going a lot quicker now. I was just looking at it on one of the monitors over there. I can see it on this one. It kind of looks odd. That area, it's sort of... because it doesn't have all the dots on it, all the sparkly stuff, I don't know, it kind of looks sort of weird, a bit like sort of a tear in a piece of paper or something. It's quite a strange look on screen. I suddenly thought, I've got a couple of wooden breadboards as well to carve at some point. Now I've got them in order to carve them, they're not actually commissioned, so I might do some shallow relief carving on one of those, maybe some rotary carving. Might be an interesting thing to do on stream at some point. It's not something I've done before, it's carving board, a chopping board, so things like that though tend to sort of cry out for a rustic sort of farming or country scene, so I shall have to have a look out for some sort of suitable inspiration as to what to do on a carving or chopping board. I've also got some leaves as well, thinking about leaf shaped blocks of wood, so I'll maybe have to do some relief carving. So much I can do, and just starting it's half the problem. I tend to save materials like the chopping boards I've got for the the special thing, for when I get the perfect project for it, and it's kind of like, I probably never will. I ought to just get on and use them and do something on them. Even if it's not the perfect thing, if nothing else, I'll have some experience of using those materials. Trouble is, when I have a piece of wood in front of me or something like that, I always find it hard to think of ideas. I can think of them sort of like at 2 o'clock in the morning or whilst I'm at work doing something else, but then as soon as I get the material in front of me, it's kind of like, now what shall I do on here? And my mind just goes blank. One of the things I ought to start doing is drawing practice, and just like on a daily basis or something, just draw whatever's the first thing that comes into my mind, even if it's only a simple stick drawing or something, just to practice things like that. Because often that's the hardest part, is getting the image in your mind that you actually want to do. Getting that initial inspiration. It becomes a lot easier once you've got that. Excuse me. That's made my eyes water. One of the things I want to do next year as well is some electronic stuff. So I may well next year do some streaming of electronic work. I want to build some temperature sensors for the house that work on the Wi-Fi. And so I will need to construct and program some of those next year. So that might be something I will actually do on stream as well. So potentially a couple of new things there. Because there'll be a lot of the temperature sensors. I'm going to need one for each room. There's quite a few rooms. I also want to have a play about with something called Node Red as well for the home automation stuff. Just see, because at the moment I use OpenHAB. That's not a fantastically easy thing to use and program, so I've been thinking about using Node Red in its place, but that will require me to sit down and work out how to use it and things, so it might be something else I do on stream. Okay, Wolfie, well, have a good time watching the movie. I'm going to be stopping in a few minutes anyway, so thank you very much for coming in and watching this evening and saying hello, having a chat. It makes things makes streaming a heck of a lot easier when people interact. So thank you for doing that. And I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening if you happen to be around and want to watch the stream. I'll be doing some more of this. Try and finish this off before we do one of the Hearthstone cards, I think. Get this project done, and then we can do that one. Pick one of the cards. So have a good evening. I think actually we'll probably leave it at that point there. We are at almost 9 o'clock, so that's the right time to stop. So what I'm going to do is, let's for once do that. Say hello in big widescreen. Thank you everybody that's been watching, if you have been watching. It's about time to wrap up for this evening. Sorry, I keep seeing dots which are slightly out of alignment, and I like to line them up for no reason at all. It doesn't add anything to do so. Goodbye and good evening, Wolfie. So tomorrow I should hopefully be streaming tomorrow. My PC didn't crash today. Probably means it's going to crash tomorrow. We'll see. So I should be streaming between 7 PM and start streaming somewhere between 7 PM and 8 PM UK time tomorrow evening. It will be some more of this. I think we might get a chance at finishing this off tomorrow night. Then we can maybe move on to some pyrography. Possibly some carving, but maybe a pyrography, a Hearthstone card, one of the new as yet unreleased decks, or a card from the as yet unreleased decks that are coming this Christmas. Seems like it might be an interesting thing to do. There's some nice images in there that would be good to do in pyrography. Talking of which, if you'd like to see any of the older pyrography, There's still some available in the VODs on Twitch. If you want to see some of the really early stuff, it's gradually being uploaded onto YouTube. The URL is down there in that blue box at the bottom, along with the usual social media channels there as well. Twitter's always a good one. I tweet when I go live. Try and tweet if I can't go live, especially as reminders, or if there's anything like I've bought something new for the stream to see, or I'm going to thinking about doing something on particular stream days and things like that. That's where it will tend to be notified. Of course, you've got my own website there, zeragonart.com. It's a work in progress, but the intent of that is to tell you a little bit more about the individual pieces, the stories perhaps behind them, stories behind the art forms that I do, like the pyrography or the airbrushing, and a little bit more about them themselves, like what is pyrography. Wolfie's gone. Cooking with wood. And of course, some other things, particularly the jewellery at the moment, but I will, as time allows, it's work in progress, always is, but uploading, making available for sale some of the pieces, some of the unique pieces like the pyrography, but there is at the moment some of the jewellery, the chainmail jewellery, such as what I'm wearing here, and you're seeing in these boxes at the right hand side. These are all items which are available on Etsy, but they were made on stream, live, under this camera. So if you wanted to look at YouTube, you'd probably find them. But they are available for sale on Etsy if you'd like. Anything like bracelets, necklaces, earrings, ankle chains, anything else like that. There's some really beautiful colours and different weaves, all sorts of wonderful things, sparkly things, lots of sparklies like this. And what else can I say? I will just about, I'm looking over there because I look at the blue box to remind me what's on it, because I can never remember. It's like I can never remember the 5 crafts that I used to do. I could always remember 4. And it didn't matter which one I started on, it was only ever 4 I could remember. I could never remember the 5th one. Don't know why, it was always a different one as well. What I was going to point out is the 3 buttons, because Wolfie, if he's still listening, will have a go at me if I don't mention the 3 buttons up there. The one, of course, to contribute bits. If you'd love to cheer, give me bits. Absolutely fantastic, love that. But that, along with the subscriptions, if you would like to subscribe, go towards supporting the channel to buy even things like this, well, materials that are used, the cameras, etc., these sorts of things. So that's fantastic. And of course there's a follow button there as well if you'd like the notifications from Twitch, or at least see me on the following page. And with that, I hope I'll see you on tomorrow night's stream somewhere between 7 and 8 PM UK. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.